It's been a busy day, a lot going on here in the legislature as they go to first adjournment. I want to talk particularly about two things, and we then open up for questions. Talk about jobs and education, 2 points that I'd like to talk about briefly. We've had an excellent run recently on job creation. Been very happy about that. If you want to, Malika, put up that first chart. Kansas last month led the nation in private sector job growth. Us in Utah were tied for that lead last month, which is fabulous. Had 9,000 new private sector jobs created last month, which has got us on track, actually a little ahead of schedule, to hit our 100,000 new private sector jobs in the final 4 years of this administration. We had just over 50,000 the first 4 years. We're shooting for 100,000 the second 4 years. A lot of things are really moving forward well. The tax policy is doing well, and I'm pleased to see that. Last week I was at the Innovation Campus at WSU, where Airbus is basically moving onto campus with WSU. This is a great partnership. More to come. 3 weeks ago, announced GE is building a new jet engine in Winfield, Kansas. We normally have not built, we haven't in the last 4 or 5 decades built new jet engines in Kansas. This will be the first new jet engine we're building. It's a Bombardier jet engine that will compete against Gulfstream. It's a hot rod, go like 9,000 nautical miles at point, nearly Mach speed. You can go from Dallas to Dubai, no stopping. This is a great get for us. We've seen huge growth in the Kansas City area taking place in the private sector, again, job growth. We've got one of the best unemployment rates in the nation, 4.2. And with all this job growth and creation, we're starting to see then this next chart, which I'm very happy about, and it's wage growth. To me, one of the key things you want to have taking place is a lot of job growth out there so that people are having to bid more for folks to work where they are, and you get wage growth. This is the Kansas City market. This is the 5 counties on the Kansas side of Kansas City, and I think it's 4 counties on the Missouri side, so it's the metro area, the comparison of wage differential in those 2 areas. It's a very competitive market, about 45% of the jobs on our side, 55% on the Missouri side. You can see January 2011, the wage differential is 28 cents an hour, 28 cents more on the Kansas side than the Missouri side. You're now at $3.33 an hour more wage differential on the Kansas side. So you work on the Kansas side, you're on average getting $3 an hour more. I'm delighted to see that. Want to see wage growth taking place so that people are earning more. We're seeing it show up in our data of what we are seeing on personal income, on income tax receipts. Personal income tax receipts in the state of Kansas have been solid, been above projections. And I want to see this continue. We want to see that job growth continue. We want to see the wage growth continue so that people are making more money, able to live more the way they would like to live, and we're going to continue to work on that. It's key, I think, that we have a stable income tax policy in the state of Kansas. So I think this is a key thing as the legislature adjourns, goes into first adjournment. They'll come back. They've got a budget pretty well agreed to. The conferees have all agreed to a budget. The big thing on coming back will be a discussion of tax policy. And I want us to see us to have a stable income tax policy, put forward a plan on that to reduce some of the deductions and exemptions on the income tax, but not to raise the rates, not to go back on the zero taxes on small business. I think this has been a key part of our growth. We're continuing to see record numbers of new business filings in the state of Kansas. We want to see that continue and want to continue really the move away from income taxes in the state of Kansas. Now on education. We've had a nice series of accomplishments on education. This one probably the most significant. For the first time ever, the state of Kansas will spend over $4 billion on K-12 education in the state of Kansas. These are the fiscal years, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. This was the court order growth this year that took place. These are the projections This is what the budget committees are agreeing to. Well, excuse me, not what they've agreed to, what we put in the block grant. So for the first time ever, the state of Kansas has crossed over $4 billion that we're putting in K-12 education. And I think this was a major accomplishment of the legislature to get away from the flawed formula that has produced a lot of issues and problems, go to a block grant for 2 years, and begin the serious work of rewriting a new school finance formula involving everybody that's interested in being involved in rewriting new school finance formula. There are already plans that are being discussed, put out there. Senator Abrams has put one forward that's in committee. I hope there can be a lot of hearings on this as a new funding formula is designed to try to get more money into the classroom, to pay teachers better, for us to be able to have some performance indicators and things that push performance, like on 4th grade reading levels, high school graduation, not just high school graduation rates, but also that on the night of graduation, more students are ready to do one of two or both of these things. And that is either have ready to get into a 4-year region institution in the state of Kansas and have a test score that gets them in there, or an industry recognized certification that gets them higher than a minimum wage job when they start out, or have both of those on graduation night. But so that we're not just focusing on graduation rates, but that students are ready to move on forward at that point in time. The regions have an objective of having 60% of Kansans by the end of this next 4 years have some form of post-secondary credential or degree. That can be a PhD, it can be an industry recognized certification. Right now we're about in the mid-50s, like 56%, but we want to get that number up to 60%. And this is all important part of this as well. And then I want to continue to focus on what we can do to get more young people reading at grade level when they get into the 4th grade. Had a meeting today with the Children's Cabinet, Department of Education officials. We've put TANF dollars into this. We've just got to get those reading numbers up. Overall, they are good, but we still are underperforming on students that come from low-income situations in particular. So I think we've got room to work and need to work on that. But good work thus far. It'll be a big session when the legislature comes back, but a lot of the key pieces are moving on forward, and so I hope that comes to a good, solid conclusion this legislative session, and many accomplishments are already there to date.